All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jude. I am one of the two developers for Cosmic Coliseum. It's a game me and my dad have been making for about 2 years now. In this kind of live stream, I'm just going to go over some of the features that the game has, explain some of the details, as well as the things that we plan to add in after we release and the updates we plan to add going forward in the future. So just on the main menu here, starting with a few of the things you can do. There's a settings feature right now. We plan to add more languages in the future. So right now we've just got English, and I think this is Mandarin Chinese. One major thing that we're definitely working on is adding controller support. That'll be available before the game fully launches. You can change your resolution, and if you're having trouble with the performance, you can just click the low quality settings, and that should give you a significant bump. Right now, auto fire is a setting too. It'll just fire in the direction you're aiming, so it doesn't do auto aiming. We're looking at making that a feature that's possible as well. If you go here, you can see a little blurb. That's me, that's my dad. You can wishlist the game on Steam, and you can go in the Discord. Discord's a great place to tell us if there's any bugs you're encountering, or if you want to give us any feedback. That's a great place. We've made some pretty good additions based on feedback we've already received. And then you just click play, and that'll start you in the game. So the first time you load up the game, you're going to have a little intro sequence that plays, kind of introduces you to the theme for the game. I've already done that in this version of the game, so it just takes me right into this starting room. I'll quickly go over all of these, and then we'll get right into the arena. So you load in, you're going to come back to this room every single time that you either die or win. The game, it's a roguelike, repeatable game, starting, I guess, in the bottom left. This just gives you little treats that you can throw around the room to feed to this. They don't do anything, it's really just to kill time. And then all of these on the lower half of the room, there are these interactable stations. So currently in the playable demo, you're not able to use the functionality of these things. Our future plans for all of these, I'll keep some of them a secret for now, but they're ultimately going to lead into progression of the story and the gameplay. Tying into kind of future arenas, future bosses, and maybe some sort of meta character development, skill trees, or other upgrades, right? For example, this is a safe, so you'll be able to get the code to this safe while you're playing, and you can unlock it. Like, it's a 4-digit code, and you'll be able to find the clues to what that is. But the main things that you'll be interacting with are the character selection. For the demo, there's 2 playable characters. I'll showcase both of them in this video. I'll start with the character that you start with. You can see the description on the left, and a tree of all of the characters on the right. These are 2 characters that we've made. They're kind of upcoming. In the full version of the game, you'll be able to play at least 6, and then quite possibly more as we continue to add them. So one of the major things, you pick a character, and then you can go over to this selectable station here, and you can select your weapon. So in the demo, 2 weapons are available. The default kind of plasma rifle, it's called, which is like a rapid fire weapon, and then the sniper rifle is also available for play. So I'll start out with the plasma rifle. I think that's what's active right now. And then when you're ready to play, you just walk through the top door, and the kind of combat loop starts. So this game, it's very similar to, it's the Survivors-like genre of game that was inspired by Vampire Survivors when that came out. Me and my dad, I played Vampire Survivors right when it came out, and I thought that it was a great genre for indie developers because it could potentially make a lot of use of the time that you spend developing to give players a lot of replayability, right? So right when Vampire Survivors came out, I talked to my dad and I said, we should make a game like this, because at that time, Vampire Survivors was the only game like it. And then, lo and behold, it took us 2 years just to get where we are right now, because we both work full-time and we only develop a little bit after, right? So since then, there's been 1,000 games in this genre. So it's quite a bit more saturated than when we first started developing it, but what can you do, right? So we're hoping to make this a fun experience anyway, and I think you'll enjoy it regardless. So if you like those types of games, Brotato, Vampire Survivors, stuff like that, then I think you'll enjoy this. So same kind of combat loop as the other games in this genre. You defeat enemies. As you defeat enemies, you get experience points. Those let you level up, and then when you level up, you're shown 4 upgrades that you can select from. So as you're hovering over the upgrades, you'll see that some of the upgrades build into what I call set bonuses. You can see a large upgrade there, full plasma jacket. So if I were to get energy shield, ricochet, and energized, then that would immediately unlock this more powerful upgrade. So kind of a large part of the gameplay loop is building these set bonuses and carefully choosing which upgrades you pick to build into them. So for the demo, a lot of these almost all of the set bonuses are disabled, but there is one that you can test out. It's called the minigun. So if you're going to play the game, look out for that one. On the left, you can see the character stats. So as you start accumulating these upgrades, you can see how your character increases in power. I'll pick Ricochet. This is one of the cool ones. So now all of my bullets are going to bounce. So every character has a passive ability. For this character, every time I level up, my rate of fire increases by 5%. Every character also has an active ability. So if I'm playing with keyboard and mouse and I right click, it's going to give me a boost of movement speed, fire rate, and reload speed. So I'll activate that now, and you'll see I'll be able to kill a lot of these enemies quite quickly. When you level up, you get a brief period of invulnerability, so you don't have to worry. Like right now, I can walk through those enemies and I'm not worried about taking damage. So the game's getting ahead of me, there's so much to explain. But while you're playing, just like the other games of this genre, you'll occasionally get these mini bosses that spawn. So you can see this little pinkish icon is pointing me towards that big beetle looking enemy. That's a mini boss. It has its own health bar. It's got more HP than the other enemies. And if I defeat it, I'll get a chest. And the chest will give me 1 to 3 upgrades. And it's random chance. There's a weighting for the probability of getting 1, 2, or 3 upgrades. And it's, of course, it's more rare to get 3, but you still have a chance. So you can see here, that's the minigun. If I get this, then I only need 4 more common variety upgrades to get that powerful upgrade. So I'll start with that right now. Now, I've been talking so much I haven't been clearing out these enemies, so I'm just going to try and focus on killing them. There's a rarity tracker on the right for common, rare, legendary. Typically, legendary are the most powerful and the rarest. Rare are more powerful than common, but sometimes it makes more sense to pick a common over a rare just based on what your build is like, right? That's pretty standard stuff. So this is a great one. It makes it 5 shields. So when I take a hit, it's just like health, except from health is replenishable and shields are not. But I'm going to take this instead because this gives me more damage, and with this type of weapon, damage is something you kind of want to look for early because it's pretty weak to start off with. So you can see enemies are spawning, the time in the top right is going down. Ultimately, effectively, when that timer gets to 0, you've survived, right? That's the kind of the idea behind these games. And then you'll have a final boss encounter. You'll defeat that, and then that will get you to the next arena. Now in the demo, the first 10 minutes are available for play, and the remaining arenas, bosses, and all of that, those will only be available once the game is actually released. So you can see, right now I'm killing these kind of default beetle enemies. These little explosive squid-looking things are intermixed throughout the horde, and they kind of allow you to clear the waves more easily. That's one of the things that's quite difficult in the beginning, is to get that kind of AoE ad clear. So this is a great one. This is just, lots of good stats, and it's a legendary, so I'll take that. So we tried to make all of the upgrades as interesting as we could in terms of having some sort of visual effect on the character showcase. So like when you get upgrades that modify your projectiles, typically they'll have a visual with them. Likewise, some upgrades that modify your defensive capabilities or offensive, like this Blessing of that Rat God, it gave me a little halo effect. So we want to add more of those as we continue to add upgrades to the game. So that kind of crate canister thing that's glowing there, you can see the indicator pointing me towards it. That's a chest. So if I pick that up, I'll get a little upgrade menu that'll show you there. So I click OK. So how many did I get? 2? Okay, 2 out of 3. So that's pretty lucky. So I got a legendary and a common. That's great. So you can either accept or reject. Some upgrades have negative stats associated with them, and you may not want them for whatever reason, so you have an option to decline as well. So I'll take that though. That's pretty good. So in the left underneath my level, you can now see a little blue counter. So that upgrade, it gives me bonus damage every time I kill an elite enemy. And so to track that, you can see how many elite enemies you've killed to see how much damage you're going to get. So this one's pretty good. When I level up, it does a wave of damage around me, and you level up quite often, so this is quite useful. And there's lots of enemies around me, so I'll take that. It's perfect. So, perfect. It killed everything in the area. That's good. So this run's already quite strong. And as the game progresses, the enemy's health gets higher, the bosses get harder, and it takes more XP to level up as well, right? So that's kind of the difficulty curve. I don't think I'm going to have a good chance of building minigun on this run, but I'll try, you never know. So these tall enemies, they have significantly more HP, but they also give you more they have more HP, they give you more experience points when they are killed. So this is kind of the main bad guy, because we didn't see the intro sequence, we didn't get an introduction to him, but he is kind of the person who controls this whole arena, and the narrative of this game is based around the idea of you're in this tournament held against your will, you and all of the other playable characters, and the goal is to effectively escape the arena, right? So the kind of overlord character that speaks to you as all of these mini-bosses spawn and are defeated, he will be a playable boss that you defeat ultimately, but how you get there is you'll have to see in the full game, right? So this is one of the mini-bosses here. There's 4 in this initial 10-minute sequence, and each one of them drops a chest. You can actually see them if you go to the corners of the room. You can see cages where they're all held initially. I'm just going to use my upgrade here and just get rid of this guy. So you can see how incredibly strong you can get quite quickly if you get some of the right upgrades. So this is good. Now I've obviously played this game so much that I know what they all do, right? So that's definitely an advantage. And I'm getting quite lucky as well. So I would take this traditionally. Oh, why don't I? I'll just take it. I'd like to build this into the set bonus, but this is a flashier upgrade and I want to showcase some of the new things. So you can see I got that prismatic receiver and now I shoot rainbow projectiles. And my stats have increased. My crit chance is higher now as well. Crits deal double damage. They can actually deal more than double damage if you have upgrades that increase your crit damage. And they have a different sound effect and a red damage indicator too, so you know when you're scoring critical hits. Yeah, so double shot plus high rate of fire and high damage. This is a very strong run already, right? Let's see, I'm going to give it a try. I only need 2 more upgrades now. So you can see this is one of the mini-bosses. They're trapped in that cage, and each one will release itself at a set time throughout the 10 minutes. Big burst of XP. So really no struggle on this first run right now. Just kind of laying waste to everything, and maybe I'll get the minigun too, that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, so with double shot, because it doubles your projectiles, it can effectively double your damage. So to counteract that, there's a little bit of a reduction of your damage, and it also significantly reduces your rate of fire. But because this character gets rate of fire every time it levels up, it counteracts that rate of fire reduction. So you can get extremely high damage and extremely high rate of fire. So it's a great combination for this character. And you can see how it's just no challenge at all to get rid of everything. This one's pretty cool. If I take this now, next time I level up, I'm guaranteed to see a legendary in the shop. And you can see how high my damage is already. Part of this is as a consequence of me getting the Knowledge is Power, which gives me a percentage damage increase every time I level up. And just Blessing of the Bracot has damage, Prismatic Receiver has a large amount of damage, just been very lucky with damage upgrades this run. Oh, and of course, I've got 6 stacks of this, that's huge, right? 35% damage every time I kill a mini-boss. I wonder if those tall enemies count as mini-bosses. I didn't even realize that. If that's so, then that's so much damage, right? So this boss here, a little bit more interesting than the other ones. Out of these kind of little guns, it's going to shoot 6 lasers, and then it'll kind of rotate a little bit, and I have to just kind of stay within them. It'll deflect my projectiles too. Jeez, but I'm going to kill it so fast because of how much damage I've got. But the game does get significantly harder as it goes on, so even though I'm strong, it's still possible. Oh, perfect. Wow, very lucky here. So if I pick this right now, you'll see I'll get minigun. So there it is, showcasing that I have it. My ammo counter has changed, so I now have 50 bullets, and I have an incredible rate of fire. So it's actually pretty insane. You can see now there's no chance of me losing now, not even close. But it's pretty lucky to get this powerful. You wouldn't typically get this many legendaries, and you wouldn't get this good luck with getting this set bonus. But the next 10 minutes would be more difficult as well, so even though I am incredibly strong right now, it would still be higher HP enemies in the future to encounter. So these chests have physics, so you can accidentally push them away as well, or at least you should be able to. So maybe these bullets aren't doing much. They're not super dense. So one thing I haven't explained, as I've been defeating all these enemies, you can see underneath the timer there are 2 kind of currencies, the blue and the green one. So the blue currency is a credit amount that you can purchase items with in in the actual arena itself. So for the duration of this 10 minutes and the consecutive 10-minute encounters, a shop will appear that I can buy very powerful upgrades from, as well as some utility items like shields and some other things that are kind of harder to explain. And then there's a second currency. That's the green currency. We call it the meta currency, which is something you will use on the main menu screen that I showed you to unlock new characters, unlock new weapons, and then any sort of meta upgrades that we put in the game, you'll use that green currency to finance those. So I'll show you the shop right now in this demo is not accessible, as in the upgrades are not purchasable. But I'll show you it. It only comes up at one time throughout the course of gameplay. So you can see this kind of panel on the floor. When the timer gets to 0 minutes, before the boss itself spawns, we will have an opportunity to look at the shop and another kind of upgradable station there, and I'll explain that. But in the full version of the game, you will have more than one opportunity to do that. So my rate of fire, you can see it's gone insane, 1,055%. So that's a combination of this character's passive fire rate increase per level, and the addition of minigun, which is just a flat 800%, an absolutely monster boost to your rate of fire. So Razor rounds, we're changing this effect, but it's going to have a bleed, and there's going to be an additional effect too, but this will also change the visual. You can see the projectiles now have pretty crazy effects going on. This may be one of the strongest I've ever been, just by random chance, so that's pretty lucky. So yeah, typically you would not be eviscerating these enemies quite as rapidly, but this is just a god run. So that's pretty good, actually. I'll take that. It really doesn't matter what I take at this point. I'm pretty much invincible, and you can see I've got 12 stacks of that damage boost, so that's extremely lucky to find too, right? I think actually the text at the top is supposed to disappear, but because I killed both of those red spiders so quickly, the text boxes overlapped each other, and that's a bug we're currently fixing. So that message at the top there probably won't go away for this whole run, but we're fixing that, so that won't be an issue. Yeah, unbelievable. So you can see this is the power of one set bonus, and we're trying to replicate that same level of power with the other set bonuses to all make them feel extremely powerful and worthwhile to pursue. Because you have to go out of your way to select some weaker upgrades just to build into these set bonuses, so we wanted to make sure that they all felt significant and worth pursuing. You can see just reading some of them here. This one's going to slow down time. If you get it, it makes you incredibly fast and everything else will be slow. This is going to be tied into the credit system. It's going to be... The description of this is maybe not going to be the same when the full game releases, but it's playing upon... It's encouraging you to not spend your currency. It's going to make you stronger in some way based on your currency level. But you can test out a lot of these upgrades completely for free. The game, as you're seeing it right now, is fully playable. You can get quite a lot of hours already just out of this free demo, really, so I encourage you to check it out and see how you like it. I'll show you the other weapons of the characters too. I think they're all pretty cool. We're happy with them. So you can see here now, 10 minutes have passed. The enemies are wiped off the screen, except that one somehow survived. Now you have as much time as you want to kind of look around, collect any XP if you want to, and there's 2 stations up here you can interact with. You can see the credit icon is pointing me towards this one. So this station, this is what's going to be the shop that you spend your credits on. So I'm accumulating those blue credits every time I kill enemies. There are also upgrades that give you more credits. And these are just kind of placeholders for now to show you. These are going to be upgrades that are available to purchase. They're going to be quite impactful, quite powerful, unique, different than the regular upgrades that you get. There's also going to be some other things like potentially ways to refresh your HP, ways to get shield, cheaper upgrades. There's going to be unique things in here too, harder to explain, but effectively it ties into this system over here. So this kind of looks fairly ambiguous right now because it's not functional, you're not able to access it. But ultimately you can see on this pedestal here, when I selected a weapon in the beginning, I selected the plasma rifle. So I'll be able to place the plasma rifle onto this pedestal, and if I have 2 specific set bonuses unlocked by this point, I can upgrade or evolve the weapon into an entirely new, much more powerful variant. So in order to help you accumulate these set bonuses And to remove a bit of the randomness factor from the game, in the shop you're going to be able to purchase 1 or 2 tokens, and the tokens are going to allow you to select any set bonus, and it's going to give you randomly one of the upgrades that you don't have that builds into them. So let's say I only had 4 out of 5 upgrades for the minigun. If I had enough credits to purchase one of those tokens, I could select the minigun set bonus and guarantee that last remaining upgrade to get it. So it's a bit of bad luck prevention. So neither of these stations are usable for the demo, but that's what they will become in the future when the game is released. After you're done spending your currency in whatever manner and picking up any experience, you can then go to the center of the game, the center of the arena. I think if you back out of this, it shows you an icon going there. Maybe not now because I went into this, but you walk into the center, and then kind of barriers will pop up preventing you from escaping, and the final boss will spawn. So he might be a little bit stuck right now. We placed, he should wiggle his way in here. But this is the final boss of the first 10 minutes. So you can see he's kind of shooting these missiles at me, and they kind of track your location. And his mouths are spitting out little bugs. I'm so incredibly powerful that he'll just die immediately once I start shooting him. So I wanted to not shoot him for a little bit just so you can see what he does. And so I'll do that. He does have a lot of HP, so he doesn't die instantly, but you can see he's getting... You can't even read the numbers there on screen so quickly. So once he gets to 50% health, he enrages, and his attacks start coming out faster. You can see it's harder for me to dodge them. But not really, because I'm just so powerful. There we go, and he's defeated. So if this weren't the demo, this chest is a specific rare variant. So it's the same as a regular chest, where you can get 1, 2, or 3 upgrades. But instead of, it has a rarity difference. So it'll always provide you with rare or legendary upgrades. So it gave me 1 rare, so be it. It could have given me 3 or 2. And then in the full game, you would progress to the northern door, and this would take you to the next arena. So the full game is going to be a series of 3 encounters. The first 10 minutes, the second 10 minutes, and then there's going to be a special final boss arena as well. So each run, you'll be building your power through multiple stages. But for now, in the demo, the first 10 minutes are all that you can do. So you go to the top, and I've won this round, so it kind of gives me a recap of my kills, my levels, the currency that I've accumulated, links to the Steam page to wishlist if you feel like it, and then you just click OK, and it takes you back to the main kind of starting room. So that's the game that, as it stands right now, in a nutshell. But there are more features that are going to be added, of course. So if that looks like something that interests you, then I encourage you to check it out and play it, give it a try, wishlist, and go into the Discord and let me know anytime you break the game and you need me to fix something, or my dad to fix something. So here, for example, I didn't show you this one. This is where the achievements are going to be. The achievements are going to have little trophies that correspond to them. They're going to be tied behind certain tasks, like beating the first boss on the first character. And when you unlock a trophy, you will unlock a new weapon, a new character, a new upgrade, a new something, right? To give you reason to bother doing those things. Similar to like Binding of Isaac, where if you kill a boss, you get a new thing, right? So that's kind of where part of the meta progression comes in as well. So I've done that now. That's the gameplay. You can see I've got so much meta currency because I played so many times just to bug test, right? But why don't I now swap to the second character, and I'll swap to the second weapon too. So the first character, you can see his passive. He's all about rate of fire. Every time you level up, you get passive rate of fire increase, and your active ability, your right click, gives you bonus rate of fire, invulnerability, movement speed, faster reload speed. He just shoots so quickly. Now if I go to the second character, I can teleport, and it's really cool. He gets bonus movement speed every level 2, so he's very fast. But when you teleport, you shoot bullets out in all directions, so it synergizes quite well as you change your weapons too. So I'm pretty excited to show you how that works. So I'll quit this sniper, and then I'll exit out of this menu. All these weapons look super cool. Look at them. They're all going to be in the game when the game releases. So you will eventually get to play with all these, I promise. Even the sword and this is a staff, so it's going to be pretty awesome. But as it stands right now, just the sniper and the plasma rifle. But they're both awesome too, so don't worry. So this character, you can teleport, and when you teleport, it shoots your bullets. So I'll explain that kind of as I get in here. So the sniper rifle is unique in that it only has one bullet to start off with, but the bullet can pierce up to 3 enemies. So I'll show you. Here you can see it went right through that. So it takes a little bit of time to get your bearing, but you see 1, 2, 3. So it's quite powerful because of that, right? That's the trade-off. And I'll show you the right click right away here. I won't take this, although I really want to. So I right click, and then you see it shot the bullets out in all directions. Now, it only shot one wave of all those bullets, but that's because I only have 1 ammo. So as I get upgrades, if I get more ammo, it will shoot more bullets per teleport. So here's a good example. Now this is good too for a strike. Since I only have 1 ammo, it's going to do that bonus damage every time, but I won't take that. But you can see how some of the synergies would play into effect. So I've got 2 bullets now. 1, 2. So if I right click and teleport, it'll shoot 2 waves. I'll show you that right now. 1, 2. So you can see how if you stack ammunition with this, it's going to get incredibly powerful. Also, one thing I didn't show you is you can teleport. If you just hover your mouse to the edges of the screen, it'll push your viewing part further away, and you can teleport wherever you want. So there's no restriction. The only place you can't teleport is completely outside of the map. So I'll teleport here, kind of in the middle of all the enemies. Very lucky here. 2 bullets now. So I have 4 instead of the original 1 bullet. So every time I teleport, I'll shoot that volley. So this is a great synergy. The sniper's good on this character because you can teleport so frequently. The cooldown for the special ability is only 8 seconds, I believe. I'll get alien nail gun. So now my bullets will freeze enemies. You see I shot him and now he can't move. So that's a cool effect to kind of buy you some time. It's actually really great against this boss. It only lasts for a few seconds, but it's enough to kind of get you out of a sticky situation. And now you can see when I right click it looks a lot different. Yeah, I can just keep them trapped in that location, right? So you can see I'm already very powerful. The combination of this character and the sniper is quite good, and I'm getting very lucky with ammo upgrades too, so this is of course perfect. 4 more bullets means my right click is going to go insane. So that's 2 out of 3. So next time I'm going to get a legendary, so bullet speed will slow down. My projectile, see how it takes so long to travel across the screen now? And that applies to my right click as well. So all of the effects that your left click gets, your primary fire ability, for this character they synergize with the right click. So if you had ricochet, if you had like razor rounds, or any sort of effect that increases damage, it'll all be translated into your right click ability as well. So damage is good. Stopping all damage from projectiles is really good. But I'll take this for more ammo. And we'll just continue to stack this right click up until it's even more broken. Maybe I'll die on purpose this time to show you what it's like to die. HP, critical hit chance, more damage, slower movement speed, getting hit gives you currency, sure, crit chance. So what's my crit now? Just 10, so I think I started with 0% on this character. Or maybe this weapon, I can't remember. I think crit is tied to your weapon. Can't remember though. So you can see 9 bullets is pretty insane with this weapon, because you start with 1 and there's only so many upgrades that give you ammo, so very lucky again to get that legendary 4 ammo bonus. But you could imagine if I had the plasma rifle instead of the sniper, each right click when you start out you have 6 bullets, so you immediately get 6 waves of fire. This is good. So I took one upgrade that slowed my bullets down, so this will speed them up. They go further, they fly faster, so I can do that now. And now I get a lot more range. See how it's traveling across the screen much faster now. So yeah, once you played the game a decent bit, you know what everything does, you get a good build going, you can really just devastate everything, right? But the goal will be, kind of when the game is out, that we will give you an ability to increase the difficulty so that it still becomes challenging for you as you get incredibly powerful. Now, the first 10 minutes have a set difficulty, but the further 20, 30 minutes, if that's how long it gets to, which it probably will, the enemies will have significantly more HP to account for the fact that you're going to be so powerful, right? So, also, you won't be this strong when you first play, just because you won't know what all the upgrades do. So just getting a feel for it all. Bear in mind that I played this for hundreds of hours, so it looks maybe a bit more easy than it actually is. It's quite challenging, especially in the beginning, because you don't know how all these enemies are going to kill you. I know this is going to spit out bullets every time it makes that sound, so I'm not really worried about avoiding it. And again, look how strong that is. I got so lucky with the upgrades again. I'll showcase maybe a weaker build, so that you can see how the Horde can really play. I'll get this chest, and then I'll probably let myself die, so you can see what dying looks like. It's really no different than winning, and then I'll probably play again, and see if we can get some different upgrades than the ones we have so far. Okay, so that was a 3, so I got lucky there. Something's going on with that text on the bottom there, so that's probably something broken. I'll fix that eventually. But now I get all 3 of these upgrades, so your power can quite steeply increase if you get lucky with those chests. So I'm going to let myself die here. I'm not going to take that, because then it'll take longer to die. So I'll just stand still. And when you get hit, you get a brief period of invulnerability to stop you from taking, 18 hits at once. So I'm dead, defeated, same recap of what you did in the game. I press OK, takes me back to the main menu again, or that starting area. So I can show you some more of these kind of interactables. So this is a little fire extinguisher case with a grenade launcher behind it. So in the game, you're going to be able to get this little glass breaking hammer. It's going to be hidden somewhere. You can break this glass and then you can play with this weapon. And that weapon is ultimately going to... Each of these things will kind of tie behind a new discoverable thing. So you kind of have to interact with them one at a time. And it's a secret as to how it does that. You can also see down here, there's some locks on this door, which leads to another room that has more things into it. You'll just have to play the full game for that. What could this do? I don't know, right? This probably makes no sense if you're just watching this. What could you possibly do with this? Well, you'll find out eventually if you get the full game. I'm going to keep this character. I'm going to swap back to the plasma rifle, and I'll go back into the game, and I'll see if I can get some different upgrades to show some different builds, and maybe I'll describe some of the set bonuses too. There's going to be some synergies, some paths that you can go down. Each weapon is going to be... You saw the difference between the plasma rifle and the sniper rifle play very differently. They behave entirely differently. That's going to be the same theme for all of the weapons. They're not just going to be like 2 projectiles and slightly different stats. They're going to be radically different. Same with the characters. This character's special ability is nothing at all like the first character's special ability. So with the further characters we introduce as well, I wanted this game, the competitors in this genre like Vampire Survivors, 20 Minutes Till Dawn, stuff like that, great games. But the characters all feel pretty samey to me when I'm playing one versus the other, barring few exceptions. They do have some notable characters, but they have like maybe 15 characters, and a lot of them just feel very similar with barely any differences. So for this, I wanted each character to feel like it was incredibly different. So you can see here, I right click, I get 6 waves immediately. And the Horde is building up too. There's not, I don't think there's a cap, maybe 250 or something for enemies I can show on screen, but they can fill the entire area. So you can get overwhelmed if you pick a pretty bad kind of build. I've already shown you minigun. Set bonuses aren't... Other set bonuses aren't in the game, right? So I can't show many of those, but I can see if I can get some of the follower upgrades or lightning or something like that. Oh, there we go, lightning. So there's one option. So on hit effects, there's going to be more than just lightning, right? But if I have a chance now for a big blast of lightning to come down, it does tons of damage to the one enemy you hit, and then a wave of damage based on how much weapon damage you do to enemies surrounding it, right? And then you heard that it triggered off of my right click as well. So now I just got a great legendary. You can see my crit chance is radically increased. So a third of my fire attacks are going to be crits. So you'll hear that little whizzing sound quite a lot. I think it's pretty satisfying, but once you hear it a lot, you get bored of it. Yeah, sure, why not? So you can see what Razor Rounds looks like by itself. Reload speed's pretty good. We'll see what I get here. So yeah, this guy, he will be a boss, and ultimately you'll fight him. I guess because the intro sequence I didn't show you, you don't really know what he looks like, but if you play the game for the first time, you'll see there's a little intro cinematic where you see him in full stature, so if you're interested, just boot up the game for a few seconds and you'll see that right away. Already shown you this one. This one's pretty good. Every time you take damage, you get a permanent damage increase. It has to be your HP though, it doesn't work for your shield. Another thing to bear in mind is we've locked a significant number of upgrades for the demo, so there are a lot to play with, but probably less than half than are in the game, even as it is right now that we're developing. So it looks maybe you're seeing some of the same upgrades again. Part of that is because of the way the random number generation works for these types of games. It's kind of based on your system clock when you launch the game. So you get to see similar bunches of upgrades. It's the same like that in lots of games that played this way. But another reason is because we've disabled so many of them to give, you know, a limited selection. But in the full version of the game, there's more than double what you can see in this. Movement speed, this one's pretty good too. We're buffing this one as well, but if I take damage, you remember Victory Rush? That did a wave of damage every time you level up? Well, this one does the same thing, but again, it has to be HP damage, but let's see here. Okay, it did 5 damage. It does the same damage as your basic attack, so because I only do 5 damage, it only does 5 damage. So you see I'm trapped here, but then I can easily escape by teleporting. It's a great feature, and it's up so quick. And if I further get cooldown reductions, then I am able to teleport very often. Sometimes instantly, really. If you stack every cooldown option in the game, you can almost teleport non-stop. That's a synergy you're able to get. Lots of experience from that there. This was a good one. I had this before. Here's one of the followers. Most of the followers aren't in the demo, and we are actually kind of going over an overhaul for most of them, but that's going to be one of the viable builds. It's like a summon build where you can get drones in the sky and on the ground that all do different things. So this is one of the most basic ones you can get. But for example, you can see here now I've got this little robot. It shoots, it does the same damage you do, so I only do 5, it'll only do 5. But in the full game, it's going to shoot significantly faster, and there's also a lot more robots that you can have. You can have an army of these things, pretty much. So I love the when there's tons of squids. We stacked a lot of squids in the first few minutes to make it so a little bit easier for new players, because you get a chain reaction when one explodes, right? But as the game progresses, you don't get as many of them, and it gets a lot harder. And it's easy, like you don't have much HP in this game, right? And there's only a few upgrades that give you HP back. So it can seem easier than it is, and then you'll get hit by a stray bullet, and it only takes a few of those to completely kill you, right? So it sneaks up on you, and it's easy to get complacent. And if you aren't good at clearing out the bosses, they will just stack up on you. And then it becomes very difficult to deal with. So you can see I think he's bleeding right now, but he's only bleeding for 3 damage. That's because I only deal 5 damage, but if I had a stronger weapon, the bleed effect would also be stronger. But it's good because I just tagged him once, and he's going to take that damage forever, so I could also just run away, and it would eventually die. And we're making that effect stronger too in the full version of the game, because it is a rare upgrade. But I'm almost dead now. Now I haven't been playing too serious, but you can see how it's quite easy, especially with that enemy, to just get hit from anywhere. If you're not careful, so this is, I got lucky here, HP, right? But there's not many upgrades in the game that give you HP, so it can be quite difficult. Tons of experience points. Lightning. Lots of everything. This one's good. Every time I crit, I get ammo back into my magazine. If you have high crit, high rate of fire, you can really chain this into getting tons of bullets, rapid fire. So you can look at my ammo counter in the top left. It's barely going down. And if I right click and then start shooting, you can see I've just got infinite ammo effectively for that brief period of time. There is going to be an enemy or a character that's has its special ability, augments your ability to get critical hits, so that'll synergize quite nicely with that character as well. But it's very lovely because I think I got, what was that upgrade? Like Many-Leaved Clover or whatever it's called. gave me a ton of crit chance. So that means I got a ton of ammo, right? Movement speed, crit chance, lots of stuff. Remember, all of these upgrades will ultimately... We have like 18 set bonuses, and I'm only showing you one, the minigun. So while you're playing, you'll be constantly scouting out those set bonuses, right? You'll hover over that Savant, more XP. Ammo Depot, more ammo, right? It's going to be... The written effect underneath these set bonuses are not permanent. We've played around with some of them. We've improved a lot of them to make them even more kind of... give them more of a wow factor. But this is just a little taste. And it's fun and it's free, and you know, when we do release the game, it's going to be the same price as all the competitors, right? It's going to be dead cheap. It's taken us 2 years to make it, but it's going to be 3 years by the time we release it, but we're only going to charge like $5, right? So I think it's going to be well worth it. You can get many, many, many hours of gameplay out of this, especially when it's fully done. You'll have hundreds of hours of gameplay with all the meta upgrades and the characters and the achievements and just all of the build possibilities. So I really think it's going to be great value for money. So I really think you should give it a try. It's quite a fun, like, arcadey type game, right? You can just hear that crit sound going off all the time. But you can see I'm not very... I'm okay, I'm moderately strong, but my bullet damage is only at 20% above my typical fire rate, right? Or my base stats. So that means I'm not killing them. They all have more HP now, right? So it's harder for me to kill them. None of these are really going to get me out of this bind that I'm in. I'm about to die. More damage is good. Maybe that's my best chance. So now one lucky thing is you can see my movement speed's very high. That's the passive effect on this character. So I'm good at dodging on this guy. Or this guy's good at dodging in general, rather. But this boss has a lot of HP, and I'm not going to be able to kill him that fast. And his lasers go across the entire arena, right? Like, through everything. So if he just catches me off guard with one of those, I'm going to be dead. Yeah, my bullets, they tickle. They don't do much. So this is where the horde effect... See, these massive guys have tons of HP too, right? And he's just going to keep firing until the game's over. So it's going to be quite tight here. I almost just need to fish for a level up, see if I can squeeze out an OP upgrade or something. This is pretty good. This might be okay. It slows enemies who get close to me by a significant amount, makes it easier for me to dodge. Again, not going to be what I need here to survive, but we'll see if I can pull this back from the grave maybe. That does damage. That wave that tall enemy releases does damage. I'm going to teleport over here. I need to farm XP. So if I don't kill these enemies quick, the spider bosses will spawn at the same time, and then I'm really screwed, right? I almost died immediately just by teleporting into that enemy. Maybe the only thing that's my saving grace here is how much crit damage I deal. Oh! Oh! I think I just barely dodged that with my teleport. Nice, lots of upgrade. This is good. I have to get that. Oh. It's dangerous to get close to this because it releases that area of effect damage and attack, right? Oh, okay, dead. But you can see the difficulty picks up, and only a few seconds from now, where the spider boss is going to spawn from the bottom. And then it would have been very challenging to stay alive. Alright, so playing for about 40 minutes, I'll maybe go through back to the original character, play one more run, and then we'll probably call it there. And then if you want to see more things, feel free, play the demo, and check it out for yourself. I'll maybe just spend a little bit more time in this room. Yeah, this door will be unlockable. That's just the kennel where the dog came from. This is going to be... You put a battery in here, it unlocks a door going somewhere else. You know, one of these is probably going to be some sort of upgrade station, right? For your character to get stronger. We're still working on that meta tree. I'm really excited. We have ideas. You know, some of these are implemented, and some of these we just have concepts for what they're going to be. But the sword is going to be great. This crossbow, we have a great idea for that. That's going to be coming, well, when the game releases. Of course, you'll play with all of them, but that's going to be coming sooner. Shotgun we already have playable, that's great. I think, what else do we already have? The grenade launcher we already have working too. But again, the demo only has these 2 weapons. Do I swap back to the sniper? Sure. I'll do sniper. Sniper main character, I guess, is one that I haven't played around with. So this character is going to be, we have this already figured out. It's going to be critical effect. So its passive ability is going to be every time you score a critical hit, it's going to emanate 3 of your current projectiles out from that enemy where you crit. And if your crit gets high enough, it's going to be like a chain reaction where your bullets are propagating crits, or propagating bullets, or propagating crits. That'll look quite nice. And its active effect is going to be a cloaking ability that gives you a bonus critical chance. So it kind of synergizes with that. And enemies lose track of you while you're cloaked as well. This is going to be cool. This guy is going to eat. Your right click is like a bite. And it eats enemies and it gives you a stack of buff. And as you eat more enemies, your character physically gets larger. And it's kind of the way it shoots is augmented too. And so that's really cool. We have more characters coming. One is awesome. It's going to have it so that when you shoot, the bullets always are homing into your cursor. Every gun is going to be different the way it plays with that. So the sniper is going to home in, plasma rifle, shotgun, grenade launcher, any weapon in there, the bullets are going to home into your cursor. You can guide them around the screen. It's really cool. And its right click is going to be like this black hole that gets bigger. Pretty awesome. Oh, in the bottom here, you see there's going to be skins. Now, there's no microtransactions, no DLC, nothing like that. Completely free. You just get it with an achievement or something. So don't worry about that. But the skins are just going to be, if you beat the final boss, you get like a gold skin or something. Now, we're playing with the idea of the skin like having an augmented effect of the character's ability too. So it could do that. But yeah, there's going to be skins for both the weapons and the characters. Again, no monetary value at all. Just completely unlocked within the game. And the game's only $5, so don't worry about it. Yeah, same here. You can see these are not functional now, but ultimately that will be a possibility. So I'm excited about that. You can see your wall is going to be decked out with golden guns if you kill the final boss with all the guns, just as like a completionist type, satisfy the people who are happy to do those kind of things, myself being one of those people. So it's pretty fun, even like in its current state. I think it's great. With all the set bonuses in the game and the shop being available, the further levels, the extra bosses, more characters, the weapon evolve as a function, it's going to be crazy the amount that you're going to be able to do. It's going to be truly an insane amount of content. I'll just do one more run, then we'll call it a day, and you'll have to give it a try for yourself. Let's see here. What do I want? Do I want sniper minigun? Probably not. But maybe. Maybe I'll try to get minigun so I can show that it also works with the sniper and not just the default weapon. But it may not. Again, it's luck based, right? Whether you get it or not. It's actually easier to get it in the demo because so many upgrades are locked. So the percentage chance, because all of the upgrades leading into minigun are available, and there's less upgrades in the pool, your probability is significantly higher for getting this one specific set bonus. But in the full game, you'll have more upgrades in the pool. It will be more challenging to get the upgrade. However, the game duration is longer, so the amount of upgrades you get in total will be higher. Plus, the shop will allow you to specifically target set bonuses, so that'll make it easier. So obviously the right-click effect is not as flashy with this character as the other character, but it's incredibly powerful because in that window of time, you shoot faster, reload faster, move faster, and you're invulnerable. So it's a great escape mechanism too. Already, we're going to get it right away. It's going to be so easy. I wrote all those quips for this guy. I tried to be slightly sarcastic with them. I only have like 30. We just put this feature in the game recently, so we're going to flesh that out, of course, before the game releases. But for now, he just, you know, hopefully one of them gives you a chuckle or something. So, of course, the gun can pierce multiple enemies, but one of the difficult parts is that for a single target, it's not quite as strong, right? Because it's so slow at firing. Now, you can offset that by getting specific upgrades. Yeah, you can see it's taking me quite a while to... See, I'm invincible, didn't take any damage there where I otherwise would have, so... but I did take damage right there at the end. Yeah, this one. Its species has 7 brains, each one capable of feeling a different type of complex emotional suffering. That's to try and make you feel bad, right? Like you're the bad guy killing all of these things when they're all super intelligent creatures. This one's really awesome, right? You can see green everywhere now. All of my stats have been buffed significantly. So yeah, of course, the sniper being able to pierce is quite an advantage, but offset by the fact that has almost no ammo, low fire rate. I should have showed you bipod mount there. It gives you way more damage if you stand still, but it's very hard to stand still because everything's always coming at you, right? Oh, am I gonna get a collateral double kill here for my Call of Duty montage? All great upgrades, all great upgrades. This one's probably the best though, for this situation. Got this again, this is awesome. Bipod mount, stationary, 80% bonus damage. So let's see, what do I do now? 12, so I'll stand completely still. 22, so you can see huge damage buff if I can stay still. My right click makes me invincible. I can stay still for at least 5 seconds, so I'll do that. I'll blast this guy here. Completely still, right click, invincible. Tons of damage, tons of damage, tons of damage, tons of damage. Boom, they're all dead. So you can see, if you get the right build, it's pretty awesome what you can do with just the upgrades. Like even a simple upgrade like that. Of course, when I'm moving, no bonus damage. But it's not, when you move pretty fast like I do right now because of the upgrades I've got, it's not hard to find a brief window to stand still and then benefit from that bonus damage. They all have to kind of come to me here. Now, of course, they can spawn right there too. But this is not like the other maps. The other maps have infinite space. The enemies kind of, the second they go off screen, they teleport back to the other side, right? If you played Vampire Survivors or some other games like that. It's a fixed place, right? So you can hide behind pillars, camp in corners. There's some strategy there. Ricochet allows you to bounce off of walls, right? So a little bit of a different feel than the other ones. And entirely 3D. I hope the visuals look good. My dad, he makes most of the game, and I mostly do game design and playtesting, right? His job, he's in the games industry. He is a art director. He's been in the games industry for like 30 years, right? So all of the visuals are handcrafted by him. That's why this looks, in my opinion, looks so professional. It's because he's a professional. So that's kind of our main advantage, is that we can make the game look really pretty because my dad, that's been his job for his entire adult life, right? His whole career has been, he worked at BioWare for 10 years, right? So Mass Effect, Dragon Age, games like that. And he's worked at various game companies, AAA studios, right? And of course, he's still working at one right now. We both work full-time jobs. We're just developing this in our spare time. And that's why it's taking so long to make, because you get home from work, you put in however many hours you can stomach, and then you go back to work, right? So it's tough. But we'll get there. Game's not too far from being finished. And then we'll see if people like it, right? I think it's going to be a great value proposition. Like, if I had $5 lying around, I'd buy it. And you're going to get so many hours of playtime for that amount of money. And continuous free updates, like all the good games. After it releases, that isn't the end. If we see any buy-in from players, if players even remotely like this, we're going to shovel more content into this game. More very unique characters, very unique weapons, additional arenas, upgrades, whatever we're going to continue to add. So it's to play this is to get a great game when it releases, and then it's going to turn into something even more amazing. What do I have? I've shown you this. This one's pretty cool. If I get this, I got no damage. So you see the timer in the top left? I can do whatever I want for that amount of time. So this is great if you're about to die or you just want a breather. It's really good if you're behind because it gives you a lot of time to collect XP and just get back into the game, right? I think I was ultimately going for minigun, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that now because I'm already like halfway through the maximum level I'll be. Cool, that squid exploded, shot the chest into me. You'll get that a lot where you'll kill enemies, or you'll have some sort of explosion bounce the chest right into you the second the boss dies. Asteroid's going to be really cool when you get that one. when that set bonus is released. We've got so many cool enemies, cool mini bosses, cool bosses that you can't see in the first 10 minutes. It's a real shame. I wish I could show you the full game, but you know, I have to give people some reason to buy it. If I just release it for free, all of it, then we'd make like $0, right? And the hope, of course, for this game is not to be anything crazy, but we'd like, for even at a $5 price point, it would be nice if it could allow us to devote more time to making games. That's the ultimate dream. My dad would ideally, rather than working for a AAA studio, would like to work for himself with our own studio, put full time into these games, make them way better. We would like 10x the amount of production, right? It's taken us 2 years to get as far as we have. Now there's more that you can't see that we've already made, but it takes a very long time when you have to work full time, of course. So if it was enough money to supplement his regular full time job, then of course he could put 8 hours a day plus into developing whatever game that we're working on. And that would increase, no joke, 10 times the amount of content. Like, we could make the game as it is right now that's taken us 2 years. If we could go back in time and he could spend full time making it, probably would take 6 months, probably 6 months. So what is that? 4 times faster, right? Maybe faster too. It's truly, it's insane how much extra time would be allowed towards it. So you can see here the visual synergy with different weapons too, right? So this is a different projectile than the original weapon. And that's going to be the same, I think. So alien nail gun, razor rounds, prismatic receiver. There's maybe one more that modifies your projectile in that similar way. So I think we're getting close to an hour. I don't honestly have a timer anywhere. I'm looking on my streamer to see if it's told me. Does it tell you anywhere on OBS how long you've been streaming? I can't see it. Oh yes, 56 minutes, 53 seconds. So I'll probably, right when that's about to hit 1 hour, I'm going to wrap it up because I'd like to loop this 1 hour for the whole duration of the next fest so that people who stumble upon the page can see the same showcase that I've given so far. So I'll take this. This is a great one. Every minute in the top right, I will get additional attack speed, and that can stack as long as you play. So with Velox, who already gets passive rate of fire, it goes crazy. You can shoot so fast. And if you get minigun too, unbelievable speeds, unbelievable speeds. So I'm probably going to cut it off right on the hour, just so that the loop is pretty crisp in terms of it starts on the hour and ends on the hour. So, okay, I'm dead. I wasn't paying attention, that's why I died. But I'm just going to putz around the front page for a little bit, and then right when it gets to 60 minutes, I'm going to shut it off, and then we'll call it a day. So, to recap, if you go back to the main menu, quit out here, Discord link right at the bottom left. Please go there. It's a great place for feedback. Me and my dad are constantly monitoring it. If you have a bug, if you encounter any issues that you want to report, there's channels where you can post that information there. Any general feedback, if you have suggestions for things that you think will make the game more fun or less frustrating, we're willing to listen to all of those. If you like the look of the game, the feel of the game, you're interested in what it's going to be upon release and you want to play the full game, you can click that. That'll take you to the main store page where you can wishlist it. So right now there's 2 locations of the demo. There's the demo on the main page for the Steam, for Cosmic Coliseum. We also have Cosmic Coliseum Prologue. The reason for that, it's the same demo, but it's its own Steam page. That allows you to leave reviews. So if you want to leave a positive review, you're more than welcome. If you want to leave a negative review, you never met me, get out of my site, don't even think about it, you never heard of this game, okay? Positive reviews only, and then you're able to go to that place. A few things to know before you leave a review. There is no controller support. As it stands now, there will be, it's coming, it takes a while, the way we set up the game. We didn't design it from the start, thinking about that. We're going to add it, it will be there. 59 minutes, 33 seconds, a little bit more. Credits here, there's me, there's my dad. You can click wishlist here. hopefully this game goes well. Hopefully people like it. They give it a chance when it comes out. And the dream would be to continue making games, affordable, indie games, no microtransactions, no garbage like that, and great value for money, pretty visuals, good physics, cool stuff. That would be the goal. Okay, we're getting to an hour. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.